Fake news and police helicopter cover-ups for November 4th. At 8:30 a.m., the police helicopter flew right to left across the street in the fake copter pocket that never existed, and he made a slight right turn behind 24191 and continued out towards Jeronimo Montia intersection. So he took the same route as the original military helicopter that responded to my camera. He flew parallel with my street and then made a right turn. And as he went out towards Jeronimo Montia, he did descent drops, selling the fact that there's a hill there, 5% grade, and he did the drops that originated, I think, with the police helicopter, but that every single aircraft, including jumbo jets, has done now. And then at 3:17 p.m., the police helicopter must have came up the park or did some kind of variation of that, like coming from maybe Tribuco Margeurite, the YMCA, but just because I didn't hear him in the park. But he crossed over the October 16th event house, which is 2-3 houses down from me, and then he crossed over the 2-story house, and he was doing a tail wave. So that's to cover up for the original time when he did the tail wave over my head when I was standing in the truck in the street next to the front steps, and he did the tail wave, and that's when the original, or one of the original, I have to have my channels opened up again, where he did the power circles at Jeronimo Montia intersection. And so that was the time when he did the tail wave, and then that's the same event when I ran back to my house and deleted the apps, and he followed me back. And so he did it, instead of just doing it for a small area, he did it, continued out over the 2-story house and continued to wave the tail. So that's variations of the distance of the tail wave. And then he crossed over the October 30th event spot, which is behind the 2-story house across the street, close to Jeronimo Road. And so I then ran and got on the roof, and he had done a couple circles at Jeronimo Montia intersection, at Jeronimo Cordillera intersection, and I think I accidentally, in my video of it, I think I said Jeronimo Montia for the first time when he was at Jeronimo Cordillera, and then he moved over to Jeronimo Montia, and that's to cover up. There are so many events that now everything's just combined. There's so many power circle events, but there was one incident where he tried to combine the Jeronimo Montia and the Jeronimo Cordillera intersections with that thing where they do a large encompassing circle that would account for all the small ones on other dates, to say that it's just routine. And somehow the fact that he's at 50 feet of altitude with the nose pointed down and attacking me is overlooked. So this time he was at about 200 feet of altitude when he moved over to Jeronimo Montia intersection, varying the altitude of his power circles out there. At 4:54 p.m., there was a military helicopter cover-up, and this part was significant because my phone battery and my storage was low coming up to this, and then they sent a Cessna out revving extremely loudly and to harass the hell out of me so that I would record it. So I did, and then eventually my storage filled up, and then when it filled up, a military helicopter came and did a turn pretty much the same as the original, except it came from Jeronimo Alicia on a diagonal, then it turned right behind 24191, and then left towards Jeronimo Montia. And so he came right to left if you're looking across the street in the fake copter pocket that never existed. And this one was the one that I've drawn a picture of before that flew over in the same diagonal as the double Blackhawk threat, except farther out towards El Dorado Park. And so it has wheels. And the reason why is because they want me to say that this helicopter has wheels. And then they're going to fabricate the evidence and delete the wheels and then say, look, it happened a long time ago. And he's talking about this helicopter with wheels, and this helicopter doesn't have wheels, so it's not the same one, and this happened in the past, therefore they do it all the time, and it wasn't a personal interaction. And then so I didn't get the best video, and that was on purpose. My storage was full, and they did it at a certain time when the sun was really bright right in front of me, and that wasn't coincidental, that was purposeful, because they sit here and they look at my tapped phone, just like my one incident that I always use it as an example. They set the fires, then they sent the jumbo jets all around my neighborhood, and then I'd be running around with a broken phone, and they would tell the jumbo jets where to turn and then to turn their lights off. And then by the time we're done, there's barely even any video on my phone, and then they take that as the starting point, and it's so far from the truth, and they set everything up, created the situation, then use it as an excuse. So then I was checking my phone because that video didn't seem like it was that good, and I was checking to see the video and see the sound And then because it wasn't that good, they sent the police helicopter back left to right and did the left turn behind 24191. So basically following the same path but opposite, to be like, oh look, the police helicopter left and then he was returning. And then so I started checking the sound, comparing the sounds of those two. And then they sent the UN copter, flimsy copter, Coverup, to fly in the same course as the police helicopter, left to right in the copter pocket that never existed, and then doing a left turn behind 24191. And so they're going to try to take that original turn video and then cut the wheels out and say that it happened in the past and that I can't prove that it just happened right in front of me because my video isn't that good, because they did it at a purposeful time when the sun was shining and we can't account for the sound. So I guess nothing's real and nothing constitutes proof. And so the UN copter Coverup that flew by after, I think they're starting to vary the model a little bit more by combining pieces of models. They seem to have one of the ones that has like a perfect like cylinder tail, so it's like slightly thicker than the flimsy helicopter, and it goes straight out from the top. It doesn't go at a slight upward angle like the blue flimsy, and it sounded a little bit heavier, like possibly tuned slightly like a military copter, and that's to mix everything up. Then at 6 p.m. onward for the rest of the night, the police Cessna copter was flying around doing all kinds of different light shows and changing of lights and covering the hot spots. And so I'm not sure what other copters were nearby doing cover-ups, but I didn't see the police helicopter then for the rest of the night.